So this week's portion is Terumah. Terumah means to give, tarum, but it actually comes from the root word tarum hey. That's what it means. It means to raise up the letter hey, Terumah, to raise up the letter hey. So the theme of the portion of the parsha is the creating of the Mishkan, creating of the tabernacle, where the Mishkan was created by the donations of the collective donations of the children of Israel. They all gave a donation. And it says over there that there's 3 types of donations that were given. So the 3 types of donations are the first donation is Tumat Ha'adanim. What are Adanim with an Aleph? Adanim are literally sockets where it's like, you take two pieces of wood and you connect them together. They're called Adanim. And the way the tabernacle was set up is it was set up with logs. And they were called Atzei Shitim. Gloria, you remember this? Atzei Shitim Omdim. They were called standing wood. Atzei Shitim. And that's what the wood of the Mishkan was made of. So it had to be standing up. It can't be on the side. On the side, you could figure out how to maneuver. No. It has to be Atzei Shitim. It has to go up. Because the whole idea of the Mishkan is connecting the lower world and the high world and connecting the 2 worlds together. So it has to be Atzei Shitim Omdim. So the first donation is the donation of the Adanim, first level of donation. The second level of donation is the donation of the half a shekel, machatzita shekel. The half a shekel coin given by everybody over the age of 20. The money was used of this half a shekel coin was used to buy the korbanot. All the sacrifices, all the korbanot tzibur, and everybody had a connection to the divine presence that came down in the Mishkan. Everybody. It's not just the guy who paid more money, he's richer, and the guy has less money, he doesn't have that much. Everybody had the same connection, machatzita shekel. Everybody gave in the same way, and that's how the Shekhinah was drawn down into the Mishkan. That's the second donation. The third donation was the actual donation for the Mishkan itself. So we have the Adanim, we have the Korbanot, but then you have the actual Mishkan. And who gave that donation? Everybody. It says, Kol Nediv Lev, Kol Nediv Libo Yeviena et Terumat Hashem. That has to do with whatever you want to give. That could go, and it doesn't necessarily have to do with money. You could have somebody that has a lot of money, gives a little. And actually the verses say this, that the Nesi'im, that the leaders of the tribes, they were a little bit remiss. They didn't give right away. They said, they were, by the way, the most wealthy because they worked out that way, the most wealthy ones. They said, let everybody first donate, and whatever is missing, we're going to give. But what happened is that everybody was so excited to give. Are you kidding me? This is going to be used in the Mishkan, a house for God, the tabernacle forever. I'm not going to get, but everybody started to give everything until everything was done. And the Nesi'im then stood there. They're like, anything missing? No, everything is here. So it says over there in the verse, it says Nesi'im without an Aleph. Nun, Sin, Yud, Mem, Sofit. Nesi'im. The Aleph was taken from them. Because they didn't have that. They kind of were on this, they were on the side watching. So later on, the Nesi'im made sure they brought the special types of gems of diamonds that were used by the high priest. But everything else was already donated. So that's the third level of donation. Third level of donation is to create the Mishkan. What do you need? You need wood. You need gold. You need silver. And the verses list 15 types of things that were given. 15 types. And the sense starts off with gold, and then it goes to silver, and it goes to nechoshet, zahav, chesef, nechoshet, ve'otelim, ve'odamim, ve'atzei shitim, shemen lamaor, besamim l'shar. It goes through 15, listing 15 things. And there were all those things were collected, were given by the nation of Israel. They took all those things and boom, they gave it to Mat Hashem. Those are the 3 levels of Tumot. So once again, we have the donation for the sockets, Adanim. We have the donations of the Machzita Shekel. And we have the donation of the actual structure of the Mishkan. What do these three types of donations symbolize? Okay, so in order to understand what these three levels of donation symbolize, we have to understand what the Mishkan is. What is the Mishkan, really? So Mishkan, what is a tabernacle? I don't even know. That's what it is in English, tabernacle. I don't know how to spell that. Tabernacle. I kind of know how to spell it, but what is the Mishkan? Mishkan, so the Ramban, Rabbi Moses ben Nachman, right? Not the Rambam. The Rambam is Rabbi Moshe ben Maimon, who lived in Spain, right? In the 11th century. The Ramban lived in Spain in the 13th century, in Barcelona, and he was, as we know, a great Kabbalist. He was actually one of the most important Kabbalists of the tree. You know, he had the Mesorah of Kabbalah. He was one of the main luminaries. So the Ramban, in his commentary on the Torah, explains what was the Mishkan. And he says like this. He says, unbelievable. He says that when the nation of Israel stood there to receive the Torah on Mount Sinai, so that experience, like we spoke about last week and the week before, it was an experience which was out-of-body experience. It was an experience that their neshama left them, their soul left them. That what they saw and what they heard was interconnected, was mixed up with each other. And they felt, Einod milvado, nothing else exists besides for God. They had this awareness, this deep awareness of truth that this is it. Even nothing else exists. And they felt the lightning and thunder and all this amazing experience. And now what happened? Is that that experience wasn't there because they already received it. And you're going to, so to speak, normal life, daily life. You can't live that way all the time in such a orot, living in such light all the time. You're gonna, that's not, God wants you in this world. So now the Ramban says, so that's what the Mishkan was for. The Mishkan was a recreation of Har Sinai experience. That every time they wanted the experience of Har Sinai, get that feeling back, they would go inside of the Mishkan, back on the mountain, back on that. What was inside of the Mishkan? In the Kodesh, and the Kodesh Kodashim, what was there? The Aron HaBrit, the Ark, right? The Luchot, the tablets. And actually it says the tablets, the second tablets, and the broken tablets that Moshe Rabbeinu broke when he came down from the mountain. And now the Mishkan had to be built. So those were there. Luchot, v'shivrei luchot munachim ba'aron. Both of them. And we learn from there that shivrei luchot, the broken tablets, are actually the first tablets, and they're in a sense higher than the second tablets. So that was a recreation, the Ramban says, of the Har Sinai experience, of that high, of being there on the mountain, right? And now, so that essentially is the Mishkan. That is essentially the Mishkan. The Mishkan is the recreation of God's will and divine presence within the world. So now the Mishkan is asked. God, the verses say that Moshe asks of the nation of Israel to come along and to create the Mishkan, to give the Mishkan. Why? It could have come down from heaven, like Mount Sinai was, right? There was awareness from heaven, right? Or Moses could have donated the whole thing. Could have done it by himself. He could have, done the job by himself. What's the reason why the Mishkan is va'asuli Mishkan? It doesn't say Mishkan Yaseh. Mishkan is going to asuli Mishkan v'shachanti betocham. Betocham is inside of them. What's the reason of this command? And by the way, this command is not just a one-time command. It's an eternal command. It's forever. This command is vasuli mishkan v'shachanti b'tocha. Make for me a mishkan, and I will dwell within you. Is eternally the will of God. And now the question is, why can't it be a mishkan coming down from heaven? So here lies the whole idea of what the mishkan really is. The mishkan really is the way the divine presence, the Shekhinah, Mishkan Shekhinah, could come down in this world, is through the people themselves. And it has to be done by the lower worlds, right? Dira b'tachtonim, dira down here in this world. She'elyonim yerdu lemala, v'tachtonim, and the lower world are going to go upwards. So if the revelation was just a revelation from milemala, so fine, it zaps the world. It's just like there's no existence. Of course, it's nullified. There's nothing. Nothing exists. Of course, I don't exist. Nothing exists because there was such a strong awareness. But you take that awareness off, you're like, oh, I do exist now, and really it means that you haven't been transformed. You were just, like it says in the Talmud, it says that kafalem har kigigit, that God took this mountain and in a way put this mountain over their heads. That's what the Talmud says, that he took the kafalem har kigigit, put the mountain over their heads, and it says, accept the Torah, or I'm going to drop this mountain on your head. That's what the Talmud says. So it was kafa, like we had to accept the Torah. But the Alter Rebbe explains this in what the Talmud really means in a real way, in a deeper way. It's not that the mountain was literally on top of their heads. Kafalem hakigit is that what's a har? Har is ahava, is a level of love. That ahava rabba, zehar. When you look at a mountain, you have, wow. Look at a big mountain. It's amazing. So kafalem har kigigit, he took this great ahava and he put it all over them. So that means that they felt einod milvado, because they felt this ahava rabbah. So that means they themselves, they didn't exist. Their mitziut, their existence, they ceased to happen, ceased to exist because of this ahava, because of this great love that was forced by God. So when you have a relationship and you have one side has such intense love for somebody else, now the other person it feels good, they're going along with it, whatever. But really the person in their heart hasn't changed to really feel what they need to feel towards the other person, because the other person is just sending such intense energy of love to the other person that of course they're going to change, but they didn't really change. Once that person goes away, then they're still their old self. They didn't really, their heart is still the same heart. And this is the whole idea of Purim, because it says that kimu v'kiblu ayudim kimu v'kiblu, that they accepted, that on Purim was actually the acceptance of the Torah during the days of Purim, during the days of Achashverosh, where the whole story of Purim is basically the annihilation of the entire Jewish people, by one king, this King Achashverosh, and then at that point they accepted the Torah. At that point they accepted them. The question is, well, how could that be that now they accept the Torah before they didn't accept the Torah fully? Now they do accept the Torah fully, and the answer is that at that point it was determined. We see that it came from them. It really came from them because they really did the tshuva. They really did the transformation, and they really wanted to come close and to really accept. So it came from them. And it specifically came during a time of Helem V'Ester. It came during a time of great just hiddenness, of choshech, of really intense darkness. And that, ooh. וואו, טוב לראות אותך. וואו. ברוכים הבאים. כן. לא, אני בסדר. מים חיים. לא, אני לא רוצה לצלטל אותך. לא, תודה רבה. לחיים.
לחיים. זה מים שלא שתיתי ממנו, אז מותר לך.
אוקיי. So now, that's the whole idea of Purim.
How do you make your men to be a mountain?
So, okay, we're going to get to that. 1 second. Okay. So that's the whole idea of Purim. Purim is the acceptance of the Torah that came from the people themselves, because now they're in a time of Helem, Vester, of Choshech, of darkness. And from that darkness, now you know that if you're really accepting it, then it's real, because it's now really you. So now going back to the Mishkan, going back to the tabernacle. So the Mishkan now, what do we know? We know that the Mishkan had to be donated. It had to come from the people. It had to, the revelation, it's not enough to have a revelation from above. Now the revelation is, there's great love. Fine. But you're not going to do anything with that unless you contribute to it, unless you do something with it.
Unless you feel a part of it.
Exactly. Unless you feel a part of it, unless it's really coming from you. And that's the whole idea. Now it's really you. Now you gave a piece of wood, whatever it is. You gave gold, silver, whatever you donated to the Mishkan. Now it's going to be used on the Mishkan forever. And from that place is where the divine presence is going to reside forever. You know, it's an unbelievable thing for giving something physical. What have I already done? But that's the whole inner will, the whole desire of God in the creation of the world, in making the world, is not that there should be a one-sided relationship, not that it should be just, gilui milemala, a revelation from above, but there should be a revelation also from below, from the world itself, that the world itself will acknowledge or recognize godliness. And it's a contradiction. In a way, it's a complete contradiction for this to happen, because you take an endless God and you take this intense love, kafalem hagiyit, this ahava rabba. How could you contain anything like that? God's intense love in something finite, in something davar mugbal. How could you do that? It's like saying, I'm going to take the whole ocean inside of this cup.
In a different world, it's possible. Not here. Like to combine.
That's the thing. That's the whole thing of the Mishkan. The whole inner point of the Mishkan is this connection of the above limitation, bli gvul, of the infinite, and the gvul, and the finite, and to connect the two. That now the infinite and the finite are really just connected. It's not that there's just infinite, because if it's just infinite, then they're saying finite doesn't exist. No. Finite does exist. The finite is a reality. The gvul, the teva, is a real thing. God created the teva. He wants it. That's why he created it. And it's very important that it stays teva and it doesn't get zapped out of its existence. Teva is teva, and it's meant to remain teva. The table is meant to remain the table, not to be blown out of the water. It's meant to be in its, everything is meant to be in its place. Everything in the world is meant to be in its exact shell, in its exact kli. In the words of Kabbalah, is a kli, right? And now this is the inner lesson of the Mishkan, that there is a gvul, that there is nature, that there is finite, and there's the mala min hateva, and both of them could marry, in a sense. Both of them are joined together The above Teva and the Teva are joined together. Right?
It's easier to, the above Teva, it's much easier for him to be connected to the Teva, like the more the above the Teva, it's easier for him to contain the Teva.
Well, the thing is that
it's hard, or it's the same. You can't.
Well, God could do anything. That's the thing. But if you say that, and this is brought down in the Sefer Avodat HaKodesh by Rabbi Yosef Albo. He was a Kabbalist, lived in Spain also. He says that if you say that God is only a bli gvul, ata mechaser shlemuto, and you're taking away from God's wholesomeness. If you're saying God is only infinite, God also is finite. He's also then finite. That's also God. That's also His will, is the finite. If you say He's just infinite, then you're saying that God is actually limited. But if you're saying that God is also unlimited in the way that He is in limitation, that really means He's unlimited. If you understand that, yeah. Both of them are an expression, right? They're the expression of God. One is the unlimited, infinite, and one is the limited. But the limited seems like it's not God, and that's the whole idea of the Mishkan. The whole idea of the Mishkan is exactly this: is to now say that I'm taking a table, and I'm now using it to learn on it. And now I'm taking a physical marble table, whatever, wood table, whatever it is, and now it's elevated. It's an elevated marble. It's an elevated thing. I'm taking a physical room made from bricks, whatever, and now it's elevating the whole thing. I'm taking a house. I'm living inside of a house. What am I doing inside the house? I'm taking a house. I'm making it a place for God. You know, I'm utilizing it for something higher. Then that becomes Asuli Mishkan B'Shechanti B'Tocham. Now that house is not just a regular house. And by the way, the Rebbe says that actually each physical house, it's not just holy places are the Mishkan, but each and every private house and private room actually, or it goes to the extent of a kid's room, that the education of trying to educate a child. Your room is a Mishkan. Your house is a Mishkan for God. What are you going to do in that room? You're going to put a few books, holy books, there. You put a charity box, right? Kupat tzedakah, you put a nice kupat tzedakah over there. You're doing over there positive things. You're doing there, in acts of chesed, acts of goodness, right? And that brings us now to the 3 levels of donations, which we spoke about. We spoke about 3 levels of donations. So we said the first level of donation again is Trumat Adanim. Adanim are the sockets. The second level of donation is the Korbanot, the sacrifice. The third donation is Kol Nediv Lev Vienna. Anything that somebody wants to give, that's the third level of donation. What do they represent, each and every one of them? So now that we understand that the whole idea of the Mishkan is this revelation of the infinite within the finite, bli gvul, within the gvul. So now we understand what these 3 levels of donations are. So the first one is the Adanim. Adanim, what is Adanim? Adanim represents the learning of Torah. That the learning of Torah is Tumata Adanim, to take a log and to put it together. That comes from and what that means is, in order to do that, in order to take the physicality and to really transform it, you need the power of Torah. You can't take, different incense and just burn. You need a spiritual power, which is really is beyond the world. And you need that power in order to really uplift the world. So the sockets, which represent really the structure that the whole Mishkan is on, the whole structure of the Mishkan all rests. That's like the roots. That's like the foundation. The foundation is the power of Torah. right? Like the Zohar says that the Torah preceded the world, that God looked into the Torah and created the world. So those are the sockets. And next we have the korbanot. So that's the first thing that the world is created on. It says on Torah. What's the next thing the Mishnah says? Tefillah. Torah, tefillah. What's tefillah? That's korbanot. So the half a shekel coin is the avodah of tefillah, which is what really the sacrifices were. The sacrifices, and it says nowadays we don't have that level of korbanot, of sacrifice. The korbanot comes from the word karov, and has to do with really sacrificing. What is sacrificing? Like we learned, Gloria, in the Bati Lagani, that the sacrifice, that the giving is really a sacrifice of the animal soul. Each and every person has their animal soul, nefesh ba'amit. And the nefesh ba'amit is something which is now given over to Hashem. So each and every person has that. So nowadays we don't have korbanot. What do we do? So the pasuk says, Neshalma parim sfatenu. So now we have prayer. So that's the second mode, that's the second level of donation, the donation of machzit shekel that went towards buying the korbanot. And that represents the Mishkan. Mishkan is a structure, like the Rambam says. Says that it should be a house where shiyu makrivim korbanot. In other words, it's a place where there's stuff done. What's going on in the Mishkan? The idea of Mishkan is the idea of the korbanot, which is the bringing of the lower of the person themselves. So we're going in order. We have the Tumat Adanim, yeah. Tumat Adanim, we said that was the power of Torah, but that is above the world. Nachon? The Torah is lamalam, is out of the world. Now we have the person. That's the donation of the korbanot. Yeah, that's the second thing, the korbanot, and that's the person. The person is now bringing themselves, and again, quoting the Ramban the Ramban says the whole idea of the korbanot is that the person should think in a certain level of a korban. There's many types of chatas, and that specific one, person should think that could have been me, and they should feel a remorse. They should feel a level of tshuva, and that should bring them to now come closer, liot karov, to come back. So that's what tefillah is. Tefillah is the person, and that's coming close to Hashem, and that's what tefillah actually means. What does the word tefillah mean? Tefillah actually means lashon tofel. Tofel et hakelim. There's something litfol means, right? Mazal litfol. Litfol is to mold something, to take something, and to mold it, and to create it, and to make something out of it, to put it together. So it's like we have us, we have the person, and the person is a comes into this world, like it says, Adam Air Pere Adam Yivare. Yeah, a person is born like a wild, like comes down like an animal into this world, and so you have to take that and make it into something. Use that power, but bring it up. So that's the second level. That's the person is now working themselves. Now, what's the third level of donation? Third level of donation is called Nediv Lev Yeviena Tumat Hashem. That's the avodah of creating the actual Mishkan. And that is the revelation, that's the Gilui, that's the revelation of godliness in the world. Now that's the way we look at the Mishkan, or we look at the world and we say, that was created. That was created by this person who gave this money. Look, that's now a revelation of righteousness, of tzedakah. By the way, the Rebbe says that tzedakah doesn't just mean charity. Tzedakah comes from the word tzedek. Tzedek means like justice. So charity isn't just charity, but it's actually justice, because justice is like you're creating justice in the world by giving something.
Also, tzedek Hashem, hey.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Tzedek hey, yeah, or Terumah, like we said before, Tarum hey. That's what the like tshuva is, the shuv hey. right? So that the tarum hey is actually when a person gives, that's stuck to give something. So then they're actually causing, righteousness in the world, and they're raising up that letter hey. So you see it when you see somebody that gave or something was given, and you realize that, wow, this was actually done and we see it. So then that is the gilui of the Shekhinah in the world. That is gilui of everything in the world. Yeah. Yes, so we have these three levels. We have the Torah, which is kind of the foundation of it all. Then we have Tefillah, and then we have Gemilut Chasadim, and then we have the giving. And on those three things, the Mishnah says, Ha'olam omed. על שלושה דברים העולם עומד, על תורה, תפילה, עבודה, ועל גמילות חסדים. גמילות חסדים is the third level of giving, of righteousness, of tzedakah, and you see it. And now they represent those three aspects in the world. There's the pre-world, there is now the person who is activating it, and then there is the actual world, the actual olam itself, the way it's transformed, the way it's actually here. And that's the stages of the donation, of the giving to the tabernacle. There's a lot of cool things actually. It's so amazing when you really study the different parts of the Mishkan. It's incredible because everything's so exact. Every part of the Mishkan, and how many amot it was, and what it was, the Kodeshim, and the different kelim and the different vessels that were there. They all signified a higher reality. They're all like it was just exact. It was exact, and it's kind of like this code, this code word, coding basically for the whole world. That revelation is the revelation of where everything was just, accessed, logged into, and everything just came out from that place of the Mishkan. So there's a lot of amazing things. I just want to touch upon like one other aspect of it, and that is the interesting covering of the Mishkan. So the Mishkan, when it was also when it was rolled up in a certain way, and it had a number of coverings. Right, it was covered by different layers, which is 7 different layers, and the top layer of it was called tachash. The tachash layer, the tachash skin. מה זה tachash? Does anybody know what a tachash? Layer, shikva. Okay. Shikva Yonah, the top layer is the tachash. Has anybody seen a tachash? Nobody's ever seen a tachash. The closest we've got to a tachash is a unicorn, which I don't know if that ever existed. But a tachash, it says, did exist. What is a tachash? A tachash is a type of an animal, and it seems like it's a.
There is a dog.
No, it's not a dog. No, it's a type of a ram in a way, because it's a kosher type of an animal, but it's very tall and strong and muscular. And the most amazing thing about tachash is its skin, and it had multicolored skin, like all the different colors. It was the most beautiful animal.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it was a multicolored animal. It had all the colors on it. But the thing is, actually, it wasn't a color like some animals. Once they're born, they have a certain color, and then as they get older, they become another color, right? And that shows that it's not their essential color. You know what I mean? That's not really a part of their body. It's their skin, and then the skin gets a different color as they move on. it's like a person's hair. A person's born with a certain color hair, and then they get, older, it becomes that hair, that whatever. So it shows like your hair isn't that's not the essential color. That's not what it is. But with a tachash, it remained with the same color for its entire life. It grew with that color. It became larger and larger, and it remained with looking the same, just larger. So it shows that was the essence of what they were. Now, this beautiful tachash, now there's a bunch of lessons that we could learn from the tachash. First thing that we learn from the tachash is that it only existed during the time of the Mishkan. Only around that time. It didn't exist after. It didn't exist. That's what the commentary Rashi says. And why did it only exist for that time? Obviously, it was just for the Mishkan. It was meant to, its skin, its beauty, it was meant to take that beauty and put it on the outside of the Mishkan. And we'll speak about the actual beauty in a second. But I just want to bring out a lesson about that idea that it only existed for that amount of time. And I heard a very nice explanation. Like life is very transient. It's very quick. And we have a lot of beautiful experiences, tachash types of experiences that if we're lucky enough, and if we, if we're aware enough, and we embrace those experiences are not going to happen again. In other words, it's a once in a lifetime sort of existence that we have. It's never going to happen. It's not going to exist again. That exists. It's a little bit morbid. It's a little bit, but in a way, if we think about it, what is real joy? Real joy is enjoying what you have right now. Beauty, if beauty lasted forever, if a flower lasted forever, you wouldn't appreciate its beauty, would you? If summer was forever, you wouldn't love summer. If spring was, you wouldn't love spring, because it always exists. Because it doesn't exist forever, you actually appreciate when it does exist. And we could speak about this for a while, but in our lives, we have to like appreciate the moment, appreciate the people in our lives, and the children or family or friends, and those experiences are experiences of like the tachash type of an experience that we're here right now. And it's not gonna be like this for forever. So that's a practical kind of takeaway from this tachash, like the beauty exists right now in the moment, and appreciate that. Appreciate the gifts of and the beauty of that moment now, because it may not exist, or a different thing will exist, but appreciate it now. That's the first thing. And again, I think it may sound a little morbid, like sad, but that's just reality. As humans, we don't appreciate something unless we recognize that it's like just now, like only now is when we really have this opportunity to partake in it, because it may not happen. I mean, just a short thing on this. There's next to my house was a beautiful house that this guy really had a whole rose garden. Beautiful house. He spent half a day on his roses. He had all color roses, the orange ones, the pink ones, white, every amazing rose garden. Beautiful. And make a long story short, he sold that rose garden to somebody who tore down the whole house and with a rose garden in it. And I remember, like, the day before they tore it down, I saw these beautiful colors, like this tachash, like all these different colors over there. And I was like, oh man, it's not going to last. And I took a picture of it. and you see like the reflection over there. And I took the picture, and then a couple of days later, everything was gone over there. I took another picture, and you see like the contrast of the two. Anyways, so second lesson of the Tachash. Second lesson of the Tachash is that we learn from the Tachash as follows. We learned that the Tachash was what was placed on the top of the Mishkan. It was what surrounded it, and it teaches us as follows. It teaches us that what do all those colors represent? They represent the ability of every single person to connect. Every person with his and her personality and who they are, right? Have an ability to connect to this, to the Mishkan, essentially, right? To one level of the Mishkan, at least the top level of the Mishkan, what surrounds the Mishkan. Every person has this ability to make a dwelling place down here in this world for God, no matter what they are. They don't have to be a big scholar, a big Talmid Chacham, big whatever, living in Tzfat. Or person could be doing what they're doing wherever they may live, and they think, what am I doing? No. You have a connection to the Mishkan because Tachash teaches us that every single person has a connection to the Mishkan. Multicolors, has all the colors, has this person's colors, that person's colors. Everybody has that thing. They're bringing it by saving the dolphins. The other person's bringing it by helping refugee, whatever it is. Every person is making this kind of like tikkun, olam, this fixing of the world by trying to do it positively. But again, it has to be connected to the Mishkan, right? I'm not just doing my own thing and I'm on my own trip that I'm saving everybody, but I'm, at the same time, beating up other people in the ways. That's not the real Mishkan. Real Mishkan is you're connected to what is in the Mishkan. The Torah is there, all the way over there in the center of it. So the making the Mishkan is remembering that the Torah is really there, and that's what we have to ultimately make sure that we're doing. We're not just doing our own save the dolphins trip as that's the most important thing in the world, but speaking nicely to other people is maybe not. All those things, recognizing that. So we learn that from the Tachash. The Tachash teaches us that. And by the way, underneath the Tachash is all types of other layers, and they represent a deeper level of awareness of a connection to the Torah. Maybe less what we call it, less colorful, but more like focused. And that's why sometimes people ask my colors are usually white. I wear usually just a white shirt, and usually black or navy or gray pants. Why? Why don't you wear I love I love colors. I really do. And I was just why don't I could wear different colors. But the thing is that when you want to be more focused, you want to be more connected, you have to stay sort of in a uniform kind of a way. And underneath the Tachash skin, there was color. There was the blue, and then underneath it was like a skin, a different type of a skin, and underneath is a different type, all one colors. It's one dimensional, but very strongly connected. Above that is the multicolors that attracts sort of the multitude, the many. But to get real, you have to kind of just pick your color, get your color, and go on. If you want to really connect, you want to have the one color. You gotta be focused, right, on that. So the third lesson the Tachash skin teaches us is it teaches us actually the idea of what we call a minhag. Minhag is a custom, because we talked about the Adanim, we talked about which the Torah, we talked about the Tefillah, We talked about gemilut chasadim, but then you have the power of minhag. Power of minhag. And everybody's got different minhagim, different customs. And that's actually the beauty of like, you have so many different customs. You have the Moroccan custom, and you have like, people come from this background, from this, and, they eat this type of a food, and they eat this type of, and they even dress this way, and they look this way, and all those things. You're like, and that's the beauty and the collective beauty of the whole community, that it's not just one thing. It's not just one way. The minhagim teach us that there's a lot of different way, and each person is connecting to their minhagim based on their family, based on their background, and they're connecting to and they're bringing that beauty. They're bringing that beauty right here, and they're taking that torch, right, and they're bringing it into this world, and they're hopefully giving it to their children or something, and they're continuing those minhagim. And that's the beauty of this donation that everybody gave. It didn't come from just one type of a person. Everybody gave. Each one of them had a different type of food that they like. This one likes couscous. This one likes gefilte fish. The other one likes tzimis, and then the other one likes charif, and the other one likes this kube, and all. But that's the deliciousness, the beauty of the Mishkan. There was all the different colors, but all the different colors come together. So all of this, like, kind of like, just to sum up the lesson, is that this donation and this giving over here of the Mishkan is our contribution to make the infinite and finite merge, and to make like this union of the infinite coming within, like the whole ocean coming within a cup, is what's happening in the Mishkan. And it comes from the person themselves. And now if it comes from the person themselves, how do they do that? It comes by recognizing that in order to do that, I need the power of something which precedes all of this, and that's the power of Torah. And then it goes through prayer. A person has to be connected to prayer, has to be very directed and just pointed to the source of tefillah, that the person, the person himself is changed. And the third thing is a person now has to do something positive, gemilut chasadim, do something positive in the world. Now they're making a mishkan for God in the world. They're making the world a better place by the person now going out of their way and helping others and doing something for others, and etc. And again, the covering of the Mishkan is this tachash skin. And the tachash skin is all these colors, all the beautiful colors, and that represents the beauty, the multi-beauty that everybody has an ability to connect to and make a Mishkan in from their own powers, from their own personality, their own characteristic. Everybody has that ability. And second thing is, we said that it is it teaches us that the Mishkan and life is transient. It's temporary, and enjoy the tachash, like now. Enjoy the beauty, enjoy this moment, enjoy this magic, this moment of time, that something unbelievably extraordinary happens, where we're celebrating something, coming together with family, coming together with friends, coming together with a positive deed, something good happened. So enjoy that, bask in that, because that tachash is not going to last. It's not going to last forever. You have to go on to the next thing. And the third thing, again, teaches us the idea of minhag, of custom. That teaches us that we have to and it relates kind of to the first idea of each person has their own characteristics, etc. But minhag teaches us that that's on top. And in a way, the minhag is in a way more important. And I'm not saying that for myself. It says minhag Yisrael Torah, and that the minhag is so powerful that you could even say overcomes certain other things. Minhagim, they're so powerful. And it says, by the way, the word for minhag, if you turn it around, is geinom. It means perjury, minhag. And if a person like messes that around, they're not going to a good place, because minhag is, you have to stick by your minhagim, because that's the way you're going to draw down godliness in the world. Purgatory, HEL. So that's the way you're going to draw down God in this world, through the minhagim that you have, either taken upon yourself or have been given to, and hopefully you're going to continue to give that over to pass it down the line, because by doing that, you're bringing down the Shekhinah in this world. So that's the idea, and that's our mission. We all have this mission. We're all entrusted in this mission to go out there and to make this mishkan, to take the infinite and the finite, and to merge the two together. And we have all the tools to do that. We have the tools to do that through Torah, through tefillah, and through good deeds, and through customs. And by doing that, and by a person being focused on those three levels, modes of donations, the fourth one is not a donation, but it's a connection. Then by doing that, we draw down the Mishkan, not just in the physical place, but betocham, inside of them, inside of each and every one of us.